right, it's take two for the Wednesday morning forecast. Good morning, everybody. So today is characterized by the winds. The winds are really going to tell the story today. And speaking of that, yeah, so we deal with winds really strong this morning. We have been extremely gusty this morning, tapering off a bit now, but they're going to come and go all day today. We're not out of fire weather danger yet. And so that's the first thing we need to talk about is through 11 a.m. There is still a red flag warning for parts of our area. This is covering still Fort Scott on the Kansas side, Nevada, and this goes over and picks up Sedalia to our east. And so those counties still in a red flag until 11 a.m. this morning. The rest of us just in a wind advisory that goes clear into tomorrow. So I told you the winds tell the story. This is what we have seen so far. This was just a few moments ago outside. This is real-time data, 47-mile-per-hour wind gusts just to our south, and that's going to stay the focal area. That's why I wanted to bring this up and show you that Vernon County and points to the south and to the east. That's just where the gusts look most focal in our area. Obviously not the brightest colors on the map today. Those are going to be up to the northwest. That's where winds are already starting to pick up. These are 59-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Precipitation hits up there. There's blizzard-like conditions. Not that we won't feel a little bit of that down in our area, but we are, for most of us in east central Kansas and west central Missouri, between these two pockets today of the highest winds. So looking at that a little bit more, this is 11 a.m. And like I said, it shows you what happens today. This is where the low pressure is centered to the north and the west of our area. And as this goes through, you can feel it like now those winds are out of the southwest. They're not cold. They're warm winds, in fact. And so this is what happens looking at now like 1 o'clock. See how the winds across our area are almost out of the west. They're starting to shift. But look what's already going on up to the north and the west. These are due north winds, 43 miles an hour associated with this front. So that does start to push our way. And I think it's central Kansas that we're really going to be watching for 34, 37 mile an hour wind gusts. We get a little bit easier over here in west central Missouri, but I'm looking at this 5 o'clock hour now. And I'm still seeing 29 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts as those winds shift out of the north, dropping our temperatures as that precipitation comes through. So speaking of the precipitation, let's go over and take a look at that schedule. I'm looking at 1 p.m., and this is a pretty good picture of what I think we start to see early afternoon. I think that over on the Kansas side, let's get in and see where we are. This would all be to the west of 169 towards Burlington and Osage City. I think this is where we start to see some transition. Over here, more towards east central Kansas, west central Missouri, I think we see light showers, if anything, by that hour. And then as this starts to work in, I think over on the Kansas side, we can start to look for some snow flurries west of Harrisonville about the 3 p.m. hour. So 4 p.m., 5 o'clock here is what I wanted to show you. I'll be paying attention to traffic up and down 69 and up and down 49 as well, as I think we have snow flurries. We could have some localized heavier bands as well. The good news is I think the temperature drop is just going to lag behind. And so definitely not worried about any accumulation. We'll just watch bridges and overpasses for a little bit. But the temperature is dropping. Let's talk about that in a second. We go all the way through the precipitation, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. This could go on as far as 11 o'clock and closer to midnight before we are finished with it. So the good news for the temperatures is, like I said, I think that does lag a little bit behind the precipitation coming in today. I'll use some temperature data. Here we go. So I don't see the surface temps being close to freezing until like 5 a.m. tomorrow, but we all know we need to look at the wind chills. So I'm looking at 5 p.m. before we start to feel like freezing outside. 4 to 5 p.m. I'm starting to see 31, 32 degree feels like temperatures outside. So that is the picture of the rest of the day today looking into overnight. I do still see a shot at precipitation this weekend. This is Saturday night over into the early morning hours of Sunday. I think as it comes through, we'll pay attention for some thunderstorms to our south. They may clip the south and east of our area, according to data today, with a little bit more widespread rains looking toward maybe the early morning hours of Sunday. But it is still not a huge bringer of precipitation, at least by today's data, which means that these fire weather conditions that we have been talking about, dry conditions with winds by and large persist. I think we're talking about elevated fire weather, not so bad like we've had the last few days, again by Friday, even of this week. And so we'll continue to pay attention to all that. We'll take a look at the weather this afternoon and I'll keep you posted. Have a great day.